is my zoom? There's my zoom. If everyone can hear okay, please give a shout that you can hear okay. I look like a lumberjack. I kind of am a lumberjack, huh? I'm a lumberjack of sorts. I trimmed up all this. Look a little Amish now, I think. Now, I'm not 100% sure that Brett remembered that we were going to do a show, or that he had the time zone correct, because he's not responding immediately on Messenger. But if he doesn't show up, then I'll just chat with you guys for a little while. And if he does, then he does. We shall see. We shall see. How's everyone else doing? Welcome, Nigel. Welcome, welcome. It's been a minute. How long has it been? How long has it been since the last show? Oh, we need to turn that off. We need to turn that off. The cat is very horny right now. Echo is almost her size now. He's almost her weight. And he's only, he's barely 4 months. He's already her weight, which is about 7 pounds. And I looked up, how long cats are supposed to take to physically complete growth or development, and it said something about a year to 1 to 4 years, and he's at like 4.5 months. December was 2 months, mid-December, mid-January is 3, mid-February is 4, and yeah, we're a little bit past mid-February. Okay, looks like Brett is here. So let me get him the link. I don't know what's up with the password. Why are there passwords required? Okay. And I'm doing fine, Nigel. Doing alright. Last night was a little rough, energetically speaking. I felt a lot of compression happening. Yeah. Okay, let me get this password for Brett. Oh, I guess maybe he doesn't need a password. Okay. Can you hear me, Brett? Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. There you are.
There we go.
Yeah. Hi.
Right on. How's it going, man?
It's going all right. It's another day.
Oh, totally. Another day in paradise?
Yeah, definitely.
Something like that.
Yeah. I know you've been trying to, well, maybe you can start off by telling us a little bit from your perspective, like thoughts on, I call it the realm. Other people know of it as the world, but I feel like there's a whole bunch of them, so.
Oh, totally. Because each person kind of carries their own sort of template, right? And depending on a person's vibration, you can completely affect your own reality. And just with the COVID, like last year was kind of a nightmare, not just for me, but for a lot of other people. And I really started enhancing and fine-tuning some of my abilities kind of coming into my heart center. And I noticed the more I came into my heart center, the more I was able to affect my reality around me. So it's just, I just thought it would be important right now to kind of speak on that aspect and just how important it is for people to not get steered into any particular direction, but to kind of keep their focus and sort of maintain their energetic structure of their, not only their thought process. Like a lot of the time, some of the random thoughts that come in aren't only necessarily our own. So it's really important to use the heart energetics right now, and I've been experimenting with that. And actually, it's my life's going okay, but I see a lot of other people that are kind of falling apart around me, including friends, family members. So I just thought it was kind of important to kind of speak out because I'm more all about kind of helping people help themselves at this point. So
yeah. I find it fascinating to watch how the world at large, not so much necessarily the communities that we're sort of aware of, where people do speak their mind occasionally. I find it fascinating to watch the other side, which is the elephant in the room people that just dance around it and literally pretend like it doesn't exist, or else they just will say, they'll act like it's just the pandemic, but without any further discussion whatsoever. And I feel like it's like the dichotomy is growing bigger and bigger for those who are not willing to even discuss any aspects other than given narrative. And I don't think that's going to even be allowed for too much longer. I think like the pressure is cooking up right now, right? Like the pressure is going to get too much at some point, and something's going to pop out the sides.
Oh, most definitely. And, if society keeps going in this direction, because the more that this COVID stuff goes on, the more I find people are almost acting like not human, they're almost acting like robots out there. Mm-hmm. It's like literally looking at the zombie apocalypse happen, like right around me, right? Which is kind of weird.
Yeah. It's kind of quiet. It's a quiet apocalypse.
I still live in a place that's like full of trees and nature and stuff, right? So the only time I realize that this COVID thing's going on is when I come to work and I have to deal with the general public during my work week, because on the weekends I usually spend it out in nature around trees and kind of recentering myself just to kind of get away from that, right?
Yeah.
Because trees and stuff, I mean, they reset our body energetics too. It's like important to get fresh air and just kind of get out there and defrag, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and trees provide oxygen, and that's also a big component that is being denied, at least symbolically. That's one large aspect of it, is removing oxygen, you know? That's not the whole thing, but that's not the whole thing, but that's part of it. And there have been some people that actually as far as the news says, that have actually died from trying to like run with a mask on. I heard that happened in China, like back when this first started. I think it was early 2020.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know if you can blame anyone for that. You have to blame the people for being gullible, I guess, at some point, because like if you're that dumb, you know, then maybe you're that dumb. Like, what are you supposed to do? It's supposed to be survival of the fittest, although I don't really think we've been operating under that model for quite a while. It's something different. It's like, it's not Darwinian. It's not, it's fascinating to look at if you can get past the weirdness of the whole thing, because it is like you're saying, you know, we've been talking about NPCs for the last few years, and the people in the community understand what everyone means by that. I'm not sure if you know of that term or not, but that's just...
sorry, the NPC?
Yeah. You're aware of that term?
No, I'm not.
It's from video. It's borrowed from video games, from like RPG or first person shooter, things like that. It's basically it's the computer person on the game that helps populate the landscape. So it's not just like three reels. That, you know, you have the reels, and then you have the NPCs, which are computer generated. And
that's actually, because that's interesting, because this is like, from my experience, like, this whole thing is just a big game and an illusion anyhow, right? And you're starting to see kind of who's the source players, and as you said, who's the NPCs, because I'm seeing more of that out there. A lot of people that lack individual thought. They can't break themselves out of that cycle and that pattern, and they're kind of unaware of their own abilities on how they actually create something different for themselves, right? I even see that at the grocery store. It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's so weird right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very strange. And like, there's also something for me that, maybe this is just personal, but I don't feel any big impetus to try and challenge like the fact that they seem to be turning into computers. Like, because if something can't respond to me on some sort of energetic level, then there's no point in me doing anything in the first place. I might as well go talk to a piece of paper or something. Like, there's no point in doing it. I'm not going to somehow change them into something that can actually speak with me. So
yeah,
like, I don't think that's where the fight is. If there is a fight, it's with how much are you, or the ones who are real inside of this realm, how much are we allowing that external silliness, which is what it is. Like, it's just nonsense. How much are we allowing that to actually affect our day-to-day lives? Yeah.
It's I'm at the point where if society keeps going like this, because I've got some property that's a little more rural, so you know, I'm even thinking about going off the grid for a bit and just kind of get out there. Like, up where it is, you got a lot of the old guys. Where I am right now, like, I live smack dab in the middle of Vancouver Island, so it's kind of like a retirement community now. And a lot of the old people, you know, no matter what walk of life they are, it seems that they wasted a lot of their time in their jobs and their position, but very few of them ever thought about what is life. What are we? What are we doing here? Kind of what's the purpose of it all? So I find that once they lose their title and their ability for what their job was, it's almost like they lose all incentive, and almost like a lot of them lose their will to live. And they wind up in these retirement homes that cost $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month, assisted care. Their pensions that they've worked their whole life for goes to go pay for that. And when they die, their pension money is recycled back into the government fund. So it's like, really, you know, for the amount we're taxed, for the amount of money that's taken from us and stuff, it's just kind of like, I don't know.
That's not going back into family somehow? That's not going back into family?
Very few pensions go back into the family. Like, when my dad passed away in 2018, he had a huge pension. He worked for the school district for 30 years, and all that went right back into the government. But he should have been able to carry that out. Like, that should have been given to the family, because that was his money that he paid into. He paid his taxes.
Exactly.
He was paid upright. So all that money goes right back into the government's pocket, right? So it's just kind of like, I don't really agree with the structure of the way the system's set up either, right? So when I grow old, I'd rather, if I have to go old, I mean, I think I've done pretty good at kind of keeping my aging slowed down at a rate where I don't think I'm going to age as quickly as everybody else, right?
Yeah.
But very few people are able to break out of what the confinements of what the system is. We're all born knowing stuff. And by the time we learn the language virus, we're basically already contaminated, and that we're indoctrinated by belief systems that aren't necessarily our own, from religions, from different institutions, different trains of thoughts, different schooling. I prefer Gnosticism, so stuff that I've actually experienced myself. I've experienced many past lives. I remember them clearly. So I'm actually able to tap into what my original soul template was, which kind of makes the game a little bit more exciting for me.
Yeah.
I try to have fun. Even when I have the most miserable situations coming up, I try to just try to make the best of it, because at the end of the day, it's all an illusion, right? And I think people need to learn how to control their own illusion instead of letting the surrounding environment control what their reality is supposed to be for them, because all of us are creators. We just we forget that along the way somewhere. So
yeah, you bring up a good point about the illusion thing, because it's a fundamental aspect of just existence in general, as far as I understand. It's not something that, like, oh, in this particular realm the material existence is illusory, but then once we go up one level, it's the real deal. Like, I don't feel like that's the case at all. And yeah. I also don't feel like there's any really big need for the collective to be as ignorant of these concepts as it is, because it's like necessary game knowledge pieces in order to do anything here. And if you don't have those fundamental things, like material existence is illusory, we get pretty much mind wiped when we come in here, so we have to kind of figure it out as we go. Not all beings are the same. Like, some are computer generated beings, some are actual reals, some are some sort of cyborg, more like what do you call it, hybrid type beings. Those are just like a few of the first very, very basic. The present moment is all that exists. Everything else is figment of the imagination. You could say all of it is mind to some extent. That's like 5. Okay, that's 5 super basic things to me that, like, the general public, if you said any of them to them, like, they would have a fit, or they would have a heart attack, or they would say you're being blasphemous. Like, the gap is so huge, the divide is so huge, it's confusing to try to navigate.
Yeah. It's even though too, like, even the Bible, like, I'm not religious at all. I really have no time for religion. And I'm not knocking anybody who is. Whatever a person wants to do it's completely up to them for their experience, right? It has nothing to do with me. But I literally threw my Bible out, I think it was 2 years ago, just because it's like, you know what? I've already read this thing from front to back, and, like, literally, there's no point in me referencing an old storyline, because literally, that's a storyline that I don't necessarily want to follow or apply into my own life and my own lifetime. You know what I mean? So people call it blasphemous or whatever else. It's like, once you tap into your higher source knowledge, it's like you don't need those books as a reference point. You don't need to play into that storyline. You don't need to play into that illusion. And once you start creating your own illusion, it's just like, it's amazing what starts happening. Although sometimes it does annoy the other people that don't understand where you're coming from, because they're already locked into a certain frequency. You know what I mean? So it's just bypassing that.
Or your illusion that you just created is affecting theirs in some sort of way, and it's making them feel a certain type of way, and they're like, well, how come he can just go do that so simply, whereas it took me, so many years to work to where I was able to have such kind of influence. And it's, it's interesting. I try to keep my base as just curiosity. I wake up in the morning and I watch my own mind and how it works, and how it has its defense mechanisms against things I'm attempting to do in my life, and how in other areas it's easier because I have more knowledge than the average person. It's fascinating just to watch my own self go through the day, because that's a whole world, that's a whole universe unto itself.
Oh, definitely. And it's interesting. When I was I think I was either 17 or 18 years old, I had a dream about who I was going to be with, where my kids, or how many kids I was going to have. I had a dream about the house I was in, and it was weird because everything fell into place. You know, the weird thing is I haven't lived this lifetime. This is literally like the third time I remember having the same experience. And it's like I got caught in the illusion 2 times, and this time I was able to jump out of it. So it's like I'm on a completely different storyline, which is actually exciting to me because it always ended with the same experience happening on the same day.
Really?
And I bypassed it this time. So it's just like I'm actually just kind of it takes being self-aware to a whole nother level. You know what I mean? When you already have that information. I knew who my lady was going to be, even though we're not together. COVID really destroyed everything, including my relationship, which is okay because we're just at a different point of growth, right? But yeah, I remember having the same experience 2 different times before.
What was it this event something that kick-started you back to the beginning? Is that what it was?
Yeah, and as a baby, because even when I was a baby, I remember stuff. I could understand what was going on. I mean, I even remember being in the hospital when I was born. So I remember everything as a baby. Most people normally don't remember that kind of stuff, but I completely remember. I remember being annoyed when I couldn't communicate to my parents what I wanted to say. You know, I
what
remember
was the
all
event? Can you share the actual event that was flipping you?
Like for what started me back to zero again?
Yeah. You said.
I don't necessarily want to get back into that too much, just because it's still kind of an awkward experience. But basically, people that were close friends of mine in my own community and people that I trusted ended up ending my experience, and it almost happened again. But I was able to maintain my mind to the point where I was able to overcome the situation this time. So I was actually able to bypass it.
I remember now. You mentioned something in the chat.
Yeah. So and I mean, I'm not really bitter about the situation because I realize it's like if you don't start creating, you have the old storyline and the old overlay, which kind of takes over, which puts you into that situation.
Exactly.
And what caused it is I used to have I still have a high intensity auric field, but I used to be able to push my electromagnetic field out, so I had a huge bubble around me. But when my dad passed away, it basically took my vibration down to a lower point. So it was just the pain of losing somebody that created an old timeline or an old storyline for me. So
did you always lose your dad in the same fashion? And you said what, three loops?
Yeah. He had a massive heart attack or whatever. So, and then I'm the one that found him when he passed away. So it kind of caused me a lot of grief, right? So I was carrying that with me. And then in the time, normally I don't drink or anything like that, but at the time I was trying to escape dealing with the problems of the situation. So I was drinking and kind of making some bad decisions and choices and stuff at the time, right? Which definitely wasn't good because for years before that, I was at such a high level that it was almost like, I don't know, I felt pretty blissful in everything that I did, right? So I'm finally back up to that point, where my heart energetics is. Even for what happened to me, I have unconditional love and forgiveness, but that doesn't mean I'll ever put myself in that situation again, nor will I ever be around those people ever again, because it was a bad experience that I never want to have anything to do with. So whatever they have to deal with their own karma consequence no longer has anything to do with me, because I basically removed myself and them out of my storyline. So it's almost like we're already in 2 separate universes.
Yeah. It's really interesting just looking at even the phenomenon of choices in general, because it's a branch point. It's essentially another parallel every time a choice is made, like a conscious, I could have gone this way, I could have gone that way. That's a whole new, that's a whole new layer parallel that probably is accessible if you have the means, at least via the mental. You can think what would my particular narrative had been if I had branched the other way.
Yeah.
And those happen multiple times per day.
Definitely, and it's everything that we do is a choice that can lead to a different storyline. Did you ever read those books when you were a kid? Those Choose Your Own Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just like that. You know what I mean? Each choice you make takes you to a different page, which takes you to a different storyline, right? this whole COVID narrative, I mean, people that aren't paying attention, they were talking about this stuff years ago with the whole Agenda 21, the whole microchipping and blah, 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 you know, all that other stuff. I'm not really going to talk on the conspiracies because I'm not into fear-mongering. I'm more into kind of trying to empower people to take themselves right out of that and reinsert themselves into something that's going to create a better future for them and their family. Because if people don't break out of the cycle, I mean, regardless of what a person's belief system is, we all get reincarnated. And then we get reinserted into a world. So if we're not putting our best forward to try to change something for the better, we get reinserted into a world that's no better than the one we left previously.
No better or worse, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of the old guys that come in, like I own a barber shop, and a lot of the old guys that come in, they're like, oh, well, it's not my problem anymore. And like, so they've almost like taken themselves right out for actually trying to make things better. Like, oh, it's not my problem. Okay, so then you go into your old folks' home, you go live there, you have to wear a diaper, you get your diaper changed, and then all of a sudden you're reborn in, your memory wiped, and then you start out as a baby with your diaper again, and probably not even a better world. Like, it's like, you know, you got to try to apply yourself and try to make a difference. You know
diaper to diaper.
It's brutal, you know?
Yeah. You know, it's like, I think we're learning that lesson as a collective, just the very basic lesson of we're responsible, period. Like, we're responsible for everything. There's not like... The Sky Daddy thing fucked it all up really, really good because, like, it just removes responsibility on a personal level.
Oh, totally.
And, like, what do people expect is going to happen? Like, look around and you see all the diversity of beings, of plants, animals, thought forms. There are so many different things going on here. And you're literally going to believe the thing that says, there was nothing, bang, there was a bunch of shit, and then everyone gets divided into heaven and hell, or something along those lines. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. And if you look at any of the sci-fi stuff, there's a rich world that involves reincarnation or involves, you know, some sort of genetic passing on of the lineage. It's obvious.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, like if you can't take responsibility, you're going to keep dropping lower. You're just going to, the gravity, your karmic gravity is going to bring you down and down and down until you see what is the actual possibility of hell realms as far as me and my own like personal experience. What is the worst that can happen? You will go there if you don't at some point take the reins and say, look, I'm going to do something about this.
Oh, totally. And sometimes a person doesn't realize they'll go out and they keep creating that negative karmic ripple for themselves, and they don't even realize that they're at that low point until all of a sudden everything sort of closes in on them, and then it's so hard to get themselves back up. That's almost what happened to me, but I had to take myself out of my mind and bring myself back into my heart, and literally once I did that, it started to create things for the better again. So if I can do it for what happened to me and what I can overcome, I mean, literally anybody should be able to. And everybody should be able to know that they're a powerful creator, you know, and they can create themselves a better life, and they'll completely bring themselves out of the illusion altogether. So it's...
You can be out of the illusion while you're in it. You can be out while you're in. Like, that's the whole point of meditation is... While you're sitting there having an experience, like your essence is remaining in the core, and you know, like you appreciate the flow and ebb of consciousness in the physicality, but you also know and feel that you're in the space that has never moved since the beginning of time. Like this, just that thing that which is, and you're not so overburdened by the weight of phenomenal existence because. If you don't find that spot, at some points in your life, you will literally, physically have the whole weight of the world, universe coming down on your spirit. It will literally happen. Like, it's not a joke. There are some parts of it that are actually unbearable for consciousness, and it has to pop out, or it has to go to a different narrative, or has to create a Jesus Christ type figure to try and symbolically take all of the weight, or something like that. But there has to be some way of dealing with it.
And you know what? I think that's, too, the biggest, funniest thing, because even, you know, you look back at the storyline of Jesus Christ or whatever, he never said, worship me. He never said, pray to me. If anything, he was like anti-establishment. He kind of hated the established system. And, You know, he never not one time said pray to me or anything else like that. So it's a misconception of, you know what I mean? Nobody's going to come down and save anybody. So people need to learn how to come into their own innate ability and save themselves, because I think the biggest thing that people forget is, in the end, there's not going to be some weird God judging them. We all judge ourselves, because all of us come in as a pure soul into this body. So in the end, we end up judging ourselves. And sometimes we can be a lot harder on ourselves than any sort of figurehead God type scenario. Because, you know,
you are going to be harder on yourself than that, because who knows you better than your own self? There's nobody that knows you better. And the external God thing, it just doesn't work. It's even difficult, I think, for the universe to create, for a creator being that's manifesting. It's almost difficult to actually create that scenario where you're this pious Christian and you've come to the end of the road, and the universe needs to create this external deity for you so you can get judged. But it's difficult to actually like pull that shit off. It's not easy.
Yeah.
I think it's easier. Not. It's easier to go the other way and be like, oh, okay, it's been me the whole time, and now let's look at how shit actually went down, and let's figure it out and reset for the next run.
Oh, totally. And you know what? This is the realm of duality too. So it's like both yin and yang aspects occur in this realm or whatever, right? So it's like, really, what do? You find a wallet on the ground. It's got ID in it. It's got $1,000. Do you take that money and put it in your pocket and throw the wallet away, or do you say this belongs to somebody, and maybe this is their only $1,000 that they have, and that's going to pay their rent and that's going to feed their family, so you make an effort to actually go and you give that back. You know what I mean? It all comes down to choices.
Exactly.
So it's, you know?
I just saw a Facebook post. I'm in some of these groups, like the local Colorado groups, and this guy said, I just sold some puppies, and I went to, the Starbucks person gave me the cash. Somehow he was using Starbucks as like the money thing, and he was like, somehow I think they put some of them aside, or they didn't give me all of them, because he somehow came up like a few hundred short than what he was expecting. And he was putting that out on the Facebook groups and just saying, like, if somebody took those, or if somebody knows who took those, please let me know, because that is my rent. It was like exactly what you were just describing. And like, there's always that opportunity, and it will change it will change your life, even if you see something like that. Yeah. And you're not the one that took those hundreds, but you decide, I'm going to go give him some hundreds from my own stash to help him out. You will change your whole trajectory just by doing that. You don't know how it's going to happen, but it's like the most easy thing to predict in this realm is if a person is being selfish and they're hoarding their money and they're trying to like make everything real stable. Like the algorithms that predict behavior have the easiest time with people doing that. It's so easy. You want to be unpredictable.
Yeah, and it's just that's what I find, like, the whole strangeness about this realm too is just the discrepancy between the so-called haves and the have-nots. You know what I mean? So the guys that have billions, trillions of dollars, yet the brokest person on the planet has their 3-year-old picking pieces of plastic up to support the family. You know what I mean? Like, it's just brutal, the discrepancy between people that have stuff and people that don't. There's no reason why this system should be the way it is. So if you have enough intelligent people that collectively get themselves to create a positive ripple or change, I mean, goes back to the 100 monkey effect. You know what I mean? All it takes is a couple of people to come up with a good idea to create a better world for everybody else. So,
yeah, it's like there's a lot going on here. Like what I've noticed partially with the system itself, with the haves and the have-nots, like you're not allowed to just give money away. If you have millions of dollars, if you have billions of dollars, I'm telling you, like, if you try and give that away, there will be systems that come up and try to screw up your efforts. It's not. There's so much image to be protected if you have wealth, and if you're just giving it to people, you're basically messing with the ideology that says once you earn your money, like you've achieved, and it's difficult to do this, and we're not supposed to just be sharing around and letting everyone have stuff. You're going against the very ideology that got you there in the first place. It's not easy.
Oh, definitely not.
And it's really strange, like, even with my own personal coming through this reality, when I try to be kind, the system itself, through people and just by its own self, through algorithms and etc., it pushes back. Like when you try to do something that's pure for somebody else, you get pushback almost inevitably. I don't think I've had a single time where I was trying to be just a kind-hearted person and it just went off without a hitch. I don't think I've had one single time.
No, and then that's the hard thing too, because even if you have a good heart and you want to be kind, I mean, to sit there doing that all the time is it's very hard to pull that off because, like you said, there is pushback from the system, and I've had that happen too, where I've been going out, you do nothing, you're trying to do the right thing, and all of a sudden you get camera that comes down, and it's just like it's brutal. So I completely understand where you're coming from in that aspect. It's just doesn't mean like don't try your best to be a good person, but you also got to be aware of the kickback, like you were saying, right? So
yeah,
I think that makes some people a little shy on putting their best foot forward, and then sometimes they just fall back into that lower cycle or that lower pattern, right? But
it's cyclical. It's very cyclical. Like I can see when I look at this place, I can see that it has done so many rotations, and when you have a certain amount of money, you literally fall into a groove, and if you go a little bit to the side, you bump against the wall, and it's like, oh, you're not supposed to behave like that. You go a little bit to the side, you bump against the wall of that groove. Oh, you're not supposed to behave like that. You got to stay center, otherwise you're not going to be having money anymore. Like that money will just go away from you, because the whole reason people have that money in the first place is because they're obeying the norms. Like you're not allowed to have money and not be obeying the norms. Not for very long anyway.
Yeah. And you know what? Even money is an illusion too nowadays, because most things digital. You got even in your bank account. If you have like $1 million sitting in there, it's not like they have a special spot in the bank that has your $1 million sitting there with your paper currency, right? It's an illusion.
So no, it's not there at all.
I mean, go try to take out $100,000 of your savings in your bank account and see what they do. It's a big procedure. You'll have to call the manager. You might not even be able to take that out as cash. It's just like, you know what I mean? What are we working for? Because all that money that we exchange our life and our soul force and our soul energy for gets traded into a currency that in a lot of aspects you can't even see it. It's an imaginary number on your bank card or on your screen. So it's just, I find the whole thing pretty strange, right?
It's very strange. It's very strange how closely monitored all of these things are. But it's like, it's closely monitored on the personal level for us, but then you hear about trillions going missing here, billions going missing there. Like it's like the shenanigans are promoted somehow, while someone of an ordinary human being like us trying to move 1,000 or a few thousand to help somebody else is like ding ding ding. No, that's we better get eyes on that. It's all about enforcing. I think it's just geared against empathy. Like the system itself, it knows what compassion and empathy is. It has quantified and codified what exactly that is on a quantum level, and it discourages it whenever it sees that little exact pattern coming up.
Oh, definitely. And that's why even with, looking back feng shui, it's like important to take like a different route and a different pathway. It's like, don't take the same route every day to work. Don't read the same book every single day. Like it's diversity, because that's how you build different neural connectors in your brain and different pathways, and that's how different opportunities open up. I mean, we take the same pathway, all of a sudden you run yourself down and your tires start spinning in the mud and you become stagnant.
Yeah. And you're predictable to the machine at that level as well if you do the same thing every day.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, you have to break yourself free in as many different ways as you can, and also like you have to embrace the sort of tension that you're going to create when you try to go against even your own your rutted behavior. When you've been sticking in the same cycle every day, even if it's painful and it's going to be painful, you got to push anyway, because the thing really is like it's settled in this like really deep anti-human groove, and you see it happening. Like there's nothing about COVID that is helpful to humans whatsoever, whether it's a real disease, whether it's fake. There's nothing about it that's conducive to humanity at all.
It's the certificate of vaccination identification really at the end of the day, right? So I think it comes down to who's kind of a robot and who's a source player. So I
Right.
think that's, even the Hopi Indians, they talked about the two possible timelines, right? So you got the one where everybody kind of bands together and cooperates and creates something different, and then you have the lower timeline, which leads to a lot of burden. It's just a harder learning curve. So I think that the intelligent, good-hearted ones that actually want to make a difference for the better collectively will actually make that happen. And the ones that don't, with the every man for himself mentality and try to screw your own neighbor over, I mean, they're going to experience that in their own life because that's what they're already projecting out there for themselves. They just don't realize it. So
Yeah, there's a lot of like self-blindness.
yeah,
That I know I act as a mirror for a lot of people, and it's like it doesn't cost anything, but I will reflect your own self to you. Like, I'm not going to sit there and involve the ego with it. I will just reflect how you are, and if you don't like the looks of that, well then that blame will come on to me because of the fact that I'm reflecting what's going on. People don't like that.
yeah,
But it's actually like the best opportunity if you have something you yourself have been hiding from for a long time, and you have someone coming up that's not involved emotionally or egotistically for the most part, and you have an opportunity to see something that might not come around again for a few years.
Yeah.
Like we don't all have a lot of good self-reflection devices. Our actual mirrors show us our face, but something that actually shows you like the very, very deep layers of self and delusion. If you haven't looked at yourself in a while, that can be super helpful, but it's also really hard. It's very difficult to see your own reflection when you haven't looked at it for years and years.
Oh, definitely. And, at the end of the day, I mean, Tesla said it best. It's everything is energy, frequency, and vibration, and that goes back to everything, right? So it's even like different modalities, like even our healthcare system, the way that everything's set up. I mean, we were more advanced even thousands of years ago, like even in ancient Egypt when they used to have like healing centers. You could go in and even like the barbers back then, I mean, they'd have to be high vibration. They'd have to be healers. So they weren't just like coming into somebody's energy field is a big deal. You know what I mean? If you don't protect yourself on a daily basis, I mean, you got to be very careful who you let into your energy field. I realize that too, being a barber.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can have somebody come in with a really bad attitude or whatever. As soon as I feel that in there, because I'm a hardcore empath too, like, and super psychic at the end of the day, I change it. So it's like you come in, nobody's going to have a bad day on my account coming into my shop, and if they do, I keep it neutral, and then I remove that out of my situation. It's very rare that I have a bad experience even with a customer, because generally most people are, they just want to come in and they want to feel better even getting a haircut, right?
Yeah.
So I try not to make anybody have a bad day on my account. But, keeping your own vibration up and be very careful who you let into your energy field, because all of that can even affect your own family. I mean, people carry stuff. People have attachments. And, if you're not careful, you can bring that home to your family if you don't, if you're not aware of it. So
That's very important. It's very important to be vigilant of your energy field, and you were not taught that in school. You're not even taught that you have an energy field. You're not taught anything. You're not even taught like the basics of economics, which is important as you grow older. I don't know what you're taught in school, but it's somehow they moved it to the point where it's just brainwashing and it has no value whatsoever at all.
Yeah.
It's very, very surprising. I had to find out the hard way about my own energy field and protecting it. Like when I started opening myself up through this channel, I had all kinds of people coming in and wanting to do this and that, meet up, have shows. I've had lots of experiences. I've had a lot of people on this show. I've had probably 70, 80 unique guests on this show. And that's like a lot. That's like a big amount of learning if you're starting off as an introvert, as I was, and hadn't really experienced my own emotions and the power of them and what those are exactly. And like people will take advantage of you, even not necessarily knowing that they're doing it. Like it's just the nature of human beings. They're in every situation. If you don't have two mature spiritual individuals, there's going to be like a tug of war going on, whether they know that's happening or not.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes if you feel that, it's just better to completely remove yourself out of the situation if you're not aware of it, right? So it's like even for me, like I'm not only a barber, but I also do like traditional sort of older shaman work because my dad taught me a lot, and I also do hypnotherapy and energy healing, which I don't practice, but when I do, I don't charge any money for it because at the end of the day, if you're trying to help people get their best foot forward, I'm more into paying it forward. You know what I mean? So I put that out there too. If anybody wants my help, I wouldn't hesitate in helping them out, just because I believe in having that good karma and paying it forward. At the end of the day, at the end of this illusion, it all makes a big difference. So
yeah, there's also something to be said for retaining the purity of your own offering, and I see lots of people on many levels. Like I do, I'm a chess person as well, so I play chess. I try to get things going there as well as this sort of energetic field. But there is a certain mindset that it's some level of sellout. You don't even necessarily know that you're doing it, but you can hear when someone has sold out to some level of thing and they're trying to get some sort of money or some sort of commitment from people. It comes out in mannerisms and speech, and you literally have less power by acting like that. By acting like, oh, I hope I get someone to pay this or that or to subscribe or to whatever. Like, you are not maintaining 100% like self-core power. You're draining out the edges when you do that.
That's why even like when I had my channel going before, it was quite a bit bigger or whatever. But I'll never monetize my stuff or anything because it's like, to me, at the end of the day, whether somebody looks at it as entertainment, like whatever somebody gets out of it, I'm okay with it or whatever, right? But it's like I never charge for what I'm doing. You know, I really am about though empowering and people finding their own inner strength and their own inner power. So that's more so what I'm focusing on. I'm really glad that I was able to reach out to you, though, and have this conversation because I've been wanting to do an interview with a couple of people for a while, and I have a couple of people lined up or whatever, right? But it's just interesting to talk to different people with different perspectives and different experiences, right? Because that gives people more of a broad base in, you know, it gets those neuroconnectors fired up. So
yeah, it's like there is strength in complexity. There's something to be said for if you let the experience go outward and just let as many different, like I don't manage this channel, so to speak. Like it's very much it does what it does, and I'm sitting there kind of like observing it, and someone comes in and wants to come on, or I get some sort of feeling that says this person should come on. It's very much like free flowing. It has its own life, and I like it that way. Like I don't know exactly what's going to happen with it, and I don't even like this channel is monetized, but I don't. I got no issues with anybody monetizing their channel, right? I'm not. I didn't mean that to be rude or anything. No. I just wanted to address it because it is a thing. Like we still have to use money until we don't. Like until, you know, we're somehow operating with our actual energetics as the thing. Until we're doing that, we have to make money somehow. So
for sure.
I try to take expectations out, and I don't let like the money thing really affect my choice making process when I'm letting people on the show or not.
And I have no problem with people monetizing their channel either, so hopefully that doesn't get taken out of context. Because,
no, it's fine.
Everybody is their own individual and stuff like that, right? I just mean for me, in my own personal perspective, I was just lucky enough to create a reality where I don't feel a need to do that at this point or this time or whatever, right? And I'm still pretty small on the radar of the spectrum. It's, you know, I'm still just having fun with life. So.
How did you get into owning a barbershop? Can you share about that process a little bit?
Yeah, so I was always just kind of taking on odd jobs and stuff like that. Never really, like, you know, I was in construction before, carpentry, and I always found myself working with kind of a bunch of low vibrational people that never wanted you to accelerate ahead of them. Every time you were doing something better or quicker, they'd always try to knock you down a couple of notches. Mm-hmm. And the guy I was working for was a complete, self-centered, rude, obnoxious, and to the point where like I'd go there and I'd actually get nauseated being around him just because he came from a really low vibrational perspective. So one day, I decided to take the day off and go get my hair cut, and was talking to this nice lady about she was cutting my hair, and basically she had suggested this barber program that was on the island or whatever. So I just applied for it. It was like an 11-month program, Monday to Friday, 3:30 till 9:30, and you wrote up like a big barber plan. So basically, I wrote what my name was going to be for my barber shop. I did like a full-on portfolio for it, and I manifested it. So it literally like started out with an idea on a piece of paper, and I just went for it. And I had a lot of struggles. Like the first couple of years, it was a struggle. Like some days I barely had enough to eat, so I'd have to work 7 days a week. Some days I'd have to work after my work day was done just to make it happen. But I didn't give up, and that was the thing. I just, I was determined, so I made it happen. So I've employed over 10 people over the years. And even the people that I got right now are like super cool. And it's just fun, like creating your own reality. So I haven't worked for anybody else since like 2004, which is kind of nice, you know what I mean?
Really
so I
nice.
only rely on myself. So I don't
really
rely
nice.
on anybody else to come give me cash or whatever else. I created this out of my own. And since I've been around this area for probably 35 years, because I did live on the mainland for quite a while and stuff too, but I know so many people around here, so they all support my business, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, there's something unique about barbering. I really like the idea as well. I was trying to do something similar when I was in California, but and I don't know, like I might try getting in there again. I like that idea of and that is my eventual goal, is to be self-sustaining financially and to have our own plot of land, you know, have some farming going on, some livestock, some just environmentally conscious living that allows for you to have free time as well, and you're not just like wedded to your work. That's our eventual goal.
And you know what? I think that's so important right now too, because I mean, what if one day something happened that shut off all the power? And what if there was no, like, look at all the people that were fighting for toilet paper in the beginning when COVID happened, and just all the different stuff. I mean, that's brutal. So if you see people all of a sudden, like, you know, fighting over toilet paper, what would happen if the grocery store shelves were empty and there was no power? I mean, what are people going to do? Most people couldn't do anything without their cell phone, without their computers. I mean, most people would be completely lost. I grew up climbing trees, playing in the dirt, you know what I mean? So I'm already used to that. When the power would go out, sometimes our power would go out for a week. I didn't even have cable until I was like 10 years old. So not saying that I didn't watch TV, but it's like, I'm basically like a free-range kid.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But time like to just be pine cone fights, just like, you know, dirt bike riding and all that kind of stuff. So,
actually,
I'm kind of used to that.
I was the same way. I grew up like sort of on a open. It was like open land. We had a canal on one side of our house. We were on a cul-de-sac with like 5 other houses on a quarter mile. We weren't that close to people, and it was just open. Like, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have computers till later on. We didn't do too much video games. It was literally like when we weren't doing school, we were outside playing, building shit, like building tree houses or bike jumps or airplanes, or like we never stopped. We were always doing something.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's like you go out in the morning and then you come back like way after dark. You know what I mean? So it was a completely different experience. Now the kids grow up with a cell phone. They're bored with it. You see 2-year-old babies. Not saying that's a bad thing. It's just different. You know, we go from analog to digital society in a matter of, what, 20, 30 years, right?
Yeah, that's a very quick transition. I don't know what people are talking about, like we're heading toward transhumanism. Like, we're already in it. We're definitely, like, our cell phone is definitely an extension of your mind, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, the whole point of existence is like letting it flow out and see what kind of crazy shape it makes, you know?
Yeah.
The people in Texas are experiencing what we were just talking about. Like, they've never experienced the type of cold they're having now, and some of the electric providers in Texas are taking advantage of that situation and gouging customers while there's such a high demand for electricity and there isn't enough to go around, so to speak. And the people don't know what to do with that. Texas has never had the type of cold temperatures that it has right now. It's something like it's way into the negatives.
Yeah.
And that whole thing of like being able to be self-reliant, being able to even think on your feet and, you know, not die. Like if you can not die in some situations because you've done a little bit of stuff as a kid or growing up, or you can MacGyver things. Like it's important. It's going to come around.
100%, and that's that's important too. It's just being able to do things independently, right? So not always having somebody hold your hand and tell you what needs to be done, being able to take control and figuring it out. So.
Yep. Do you have any sort of plans for, you know, assuming COVID figures itself out and allows people to sort of somewhat be normal? Do you have any like vision plans going forward?
You know, it's strange because I already thought that this situation might have already kind of figured itself out, like somewhat. I mean, as far as the traveling and stuff like that, I mean, there's people that I'd like to see in the States and stuff too. But because of COVID, it's like everything's so locked down. Like different places in Canada are still on curfew. So like literally you can't do anything. You got to be home by 8 o'clock. To me, it's, it doesn't even seem rational, you know what I mean? So I don't really have any plans as far as, like I said, if things progressively seem to get worse and they start telling you that a vaccine is mandatory or whatnot, that's my cue to get out of Dodge. Mm-hmm. So I'll be I'll be selling my property, I'll be going to my rural property and I'll be getting some solar panels. And I'll be completely self-sufficient. I'll be getting off the grid. I'll be getting myself some chickens. You know, I'll be growing my own fruit and vegetables, and I'll just be self-sufficient. So. Yep,
that's what we're aiming for too. I think the split is going to continue on down the line. I think if you're a genuine souled being and you take this devil syrup or whatever the fuck is in the vax, I think it's gonna. Maybe not sever your connection with the source because you can't ever actually do that. The game will go on forever, but you're gonna like mute it off even more than it is right now. Like I can feel in this realm like our connection with the God self is it's dim at best. It doesn't, you know, it's suppressed. So I think if you go and take this thing, like it's just gonna dim it further, and you're gonna have a lot more work to do.
Oh, totally. It's you know, the inner work comes to understanding oneself, and I think that's just kind of the most important, right? So that's the game changer, whether or not you're going to be funneled into something you don't want to be a part of. By the time you get funneled in, I mean, it's easy to get funneled into something. It's very hard to get yourself out once you've been put in that situation, right? So I think the more a person understands themselves, the better off they're going to be. So.
Yep, introspection. You got to examine it. And I think just trying different things, like every single day. Every day is a gift of sorts, so long as you're not being tortured or you know, overtly manipulated. If you look at yourself and you're pretty much free, like go do something. That's the whole point of being here. If you're not doing something with yourself, then what's the point?
Yeah. No, totally. And you know, life's a gift. So it's like each day we have a choice on what we do with our gift. You know what I mean? Because it's an experience and it's a gift. So it's just remembering what's important. At the end of the day, it's our relationships with our family, things that make us feel good. You know what I mean? It's all that's important. So, you know, also when we leave here, the only thing we can take with us in our soul template is our memories. So it's just like, make the best of our experience. You know, life's a gift. And just being consciously aware of that on a daily basis, that alone leads to gratitude, which makes us appreciate our experience, which makes the experience that much better. So
yeah, it's like a self-amplifying system. When you are able to hold gratitude and move in that fashion, then it literally does open it up, and it's contagious. Just the same way that fear, like COVID fear, is contagious. if you're full of gratitude and you're thankful that you're existing and you're thankful for opportunities to speak with other people and so on, that's contagious. You're going to spread that.
Yeah.
So you just remember that you are an amplifier of signals, and if you let all this bad stuff come through your core, you're going to amplify that. You're going to make the whole thing darker, and then everyone's going to see you, and they're going to get darker. It's up to you, like as the individual. Do you want to amplify light and harmony, or do you want it to become discordant?
Oh, totally.
Completely up to you.
That 100%.
But yeah,
that's awesome, man. I got to run here pretty quickly just because I got my vehicle being worked on. I got my buddy helping me put a starter in my Jeep today, so I was hoping to still get on the back roads or whatever, right? But
yeah, go take care of your Jeep. It's been fun having you on. I think we're coming up on about an hour anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Brett. Yeah, come back on again sometime and let us know how you're doing.
Okay, sounds good, brother. Thanks a lot for the interview. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank you.
Okay, talk to you later.
Peace.
Bye.
Life is enslavement, but we should have gratitude for the larger things to come. I mean, some parts of it are enslavement, I guess. I know some people think of the body as a prison, but I also know when someone's getting ready to get out of that prison, they usually want to stay. They usually want to stay. Life is a trip. Humor and curiosity are super allies. Yep. This is true. So on that note, we're going to end this one. Yeah, next week, not next week, 2 weekends from now, I'm going to be on Emily's show. Not sure if I have anything in between there, but just so y'alls know. And thank you for hanging out. Peace, love, and happiness. Bye.